What's going on, people of the internet? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to share with you how I fixed my DJI drone. Let's get to it. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're here because you also broke your DJI drone, I feel you. About 2 months ago, I did the same exact thing. I was flying my drone, was trying to get a banger of like the whole aerial shot, and all of a sudden, I broke my drone.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
Honestly, it's a very devastating feeling. It's just a roller coaster of emotions. You kind of just want to figure out why the heck it happened, but in the end, my gimbal broke and I didn't know what to actually do. So I kind of wanted to make a video upon this actual experience, kind of give you a step-by-step process. If you're experiencing the same thing that I did, you broke your DJI drone, you don't have a DJI Repair Service warranty thing anymore, well, you're in the right place. I want to share the video for a step-by-step process of how to get through this whole entire thing. My plan is here. I'm going to break this video into 3 parts. Part number 1 is going to be just the online application. Step 2 or section 2 of this whole entire video is going to be just like the whole process of the whole packaging, what not to do when you're actually patching it and stuff. And then step number 3 or part 3 of this video is going to be just the whole entire timeline, my experience, and just, you know, how things kind of went along the whole entire process as soon as I sent the actual DJI drone to DJI so I can get it back into my possession. Let's get started with this video. Part 1, step 1, and that's going to be the online application. Let's go into dji.com/support/repair. Or scroll down below to the description. I got the link for you for your convenience. Once you actually clicked on the service request online, you'll probably be directed to just signing in. So, you know, if you haven't created a specific account for your specific drone, I would do so moving forward so you can actually get your case number and everything tied to your email. Makes things a lot more easier. Now that you signed in, you're probably gonna be redirected to the application page, and what you wanna do is click on the Request Application Submission button. Once you kind of finally get into that actual page, this is going to be where you fill out the application for your drone. You know, if you have a DJI drone like mine, where it's going to be the Mavic 2 Pro, open up the actual battery itself and you find the serial number in the drone itself as well. If you don't have the serial number, you can obviously click on the product itself. You don't have to actually provide all the information anymore. I think in the past when I first got my drone, they really made it difficult, but now you don't really have to provide all the information like the proof of purchase date, all that type of jazz. You know, all you need to do is provide your serial number or the product, and then you can just move on. Once you actually kind of finally got into that section, you filled out what your product is going to be. You know, what you're actually going to do is fill out the part of what you need to repair. You know, what happened. In my case, my actual gimbal broke. I knew that by the actual error. And, you know, the type of actual incident that actually happened. Did it fall? Did you lose it? All that type of jazz. This is the section where you want to fill it out and just kind of explain your whole situation. So what I did was just kind of explain, you know, this is what happened on this date. This is what actually kind of occurred. It just kind of fell out of nowhere, just like how you saw in the previous clip. And then honestly, just, you know, explain in full detail so they can kind of really assess of what the actual problem is. Now you're probably wondering, you know, how much is going to cost based on this exact thing. I believe I've provided a link down below as well, or just the kind of the steps. You can also see of how much it'll cost per actual part it's going to be. Like say maybe it's the actual wing itself of the drone, or just in this case it was the gimbal. So the gimbal for me cost about $185 plus the service was like 65 bucks. Generally, I kind of know what's going to happen if I actually did go through this process for actually sending it off to for them to repair. So, you know, feel free to do that research before you actually press the submit button and create your case number. So, you know, you have a general idea before you completely get screwed over. After you finally figured out that portion of what the incident was, how it actually broke, what you think is actually broken, you're going to be going to the shipping address. This is very important. This is exactly going to be the place where it's going to be sent back to you. So, you know, depending on where you are in the US, this is specifically for a US person, you know, it's going to be a little bit interesting because for me, I live in an apartment, and sometimes depending on the carrier, you want to really just figure out where you want to ship it. So for me specifically, I knew for a fact this is a UPS, you know, carrier itself. So that was pretty nice. Depending on where you live, depending on the situation for the specific carrier, DJI uses UPS within the US. After you finally submit the button, you're going to be created an actual case number, and you finally finish your application. So once you actually get your case number, feel free to take a screenshot. Yeah, they're probably going to send you an email, but DJI's email systems are kind of delayed sometimes. So keep that page, keep a screenshot of the whole entire thing, and just have that case number in your records, just in case when you want to get back to the inquiry of the status of the thing. All right, so Now that you finally finished the part one, which is the actual like online application to say, hey, please fix my drone, now you got to send it in. So once you fill out the case number, it'll probably provide you like what you actually need to provide for your actual repair. So in my case, my gimbal broke. So what they wanted is the whole entire drone, the battery, as well as the remote. This part is kind of important in my personal opinion. When I first thought like, okay, what do I send in upon these things? You don't have to send, if you have multiple batteries, just send them one. Don't need to provide all the things. If you also have some external stuff as well, like, the propellers can come off, the actual, like I have here like some portion of the drone that you can kind of take off by Pygitech, whatever it was called. It kind of keeps things secure. You don't need to give these things to them. You just take them off and just let it go. Other things you want to keep in account for is the memory cards. You definitely want to take your stuff off, back it up, whatever you need to do, but just take out the memory card, take off any type of any type of filters you may have on your gimbal or your drone itself. Just make it bare boned, but obviously you want to have the protector on it because they'll send that back as well because they want to keep it secure. In the end, after you kind of taken all that stuff, prepared your drone in order to ship it, what you want to do, I personally just got a box. It's like kind of like an old Amazon box. Use old like air bag thingies that just kind of keep it more secure, put more newspapers in, just in case, nothing else breaks upon shipping. So you're really sure that nothing else is the problem when they actually receive the drone. Now that you finally packaged your drone securely and safely, what you want to do is go to a UPS store, drop it off. It's free and everything like that. They give you the shipping label and whatnot to your email. So that's a great thing. Once you finally get that process going, you'll have that tracking number still so you can finally see where it's going to go. For me, I'll put like a tracking information of where my thing was kind of located when I shipped it. All that description stuff will be here as well. All right, so now that you submitted your application, you finally sent off your drone to DJI, you got all that kind of sorted out. Now it begins the waiting game. Here is kind of where I want to explain the timeline of what kind of happened during my application and kind of explain, what really occurred. So it kind of gives you a general idea of how long it'll take for your DJI drone to get repaired and the whole entire process. For me specifically, on January 27th of 2023, I submitted my application. And unfortunately for my situation, I don't know why, but Texas was going through a winter storm and it was kind of interesting because my assessment, I got an email, I'll put it like right here. It was kind of strange because the assessment was going to take a little longer. So it was kind of unfortunate, but after a week, I think on February 4th of 2023, I actually finally got my assessment completed and I got an invoice. And guys, this is kind of where I would say, really be diligent when you're checking your emails. As soon as you see that thing, you probably obviously check how much it'll cost. You can probably deny it, but obviously for me, I kind of generally did my research of how much it'll cost to fix my drone. I just said, hey, now put in the credit card information, everything. Let's get it going and let's start that timer. This kind of allows them to immediately kind of just get your drone to you as soon as possible. So I really advise you, see what your email is, check your spam once in a while, check like about within the week itself, they'll probably finish the assessment and send out an invoice. In my opinion, I feel like if you pay as soon as possible, I think you'll get the drone obviously much faster than you expect. So definitely do that if you're actually getting that notification via email. Now that you finally paid it, I just kind of have a small disclaimer just because I kind of like remember certain things about this process. When you're actually checking back with your case number that you finally saved, that you previously saved, what you want to do is also check your emails as diligently as possible because I'm just the type of person, I need to know where things are at in a specific process. So I've been checking the case number like constantly. Where is it at? Is it finally fixed? Is it finally repaired? When you check back and then you look at my emails, you're like, wait a minute, these don't freaking match. I actually got an invoice of saying, hey, pay this now, but in the case number, it wasn't updated. So just keep note that wherever you are in your application, the case number, it doesn't always follow your emails. So just, time to time, check your emails while also checking the case number because they don't always reflect each other. Now that you finally finished the whole entire payment process, it took me about 2 days. From February 4th, it was about a Saturday, I believe, in 2023. And then about 2 days later, on Monday, it was fully repaired and it was all ready to be, shipped out. That was great. I was super happy and everything. I was like, dude, that was pretty fast. About about a week, they finally fixed this whole entire thing. I was pretty satisfied for the amount of time it actually took because of the small delays. This is where it kind of differs. This is kind of where things are kind of my disclaimers as well as hopefully this doesn't happen to you. February 7th, it finally shipped, and somehow in some way throughout the process, I'll leave the kind of tracking information like somewhere like right here. But for some reason, when it went from like Fort Worth or Fort something, in Texas, it went to some other location. No idea why, called them up, customer service representative and everything, trying to figure out the problem. Lo and behold, what they can do is nothing, so just save yourself the trouble. Obviously call them once, just so you can kind of get the notes down so they can escalate the problem. Besides that, don't be like me where you call again and say, hey, can you kind of do something? They have no absolute power in anything they do on that end. So just, save yourself the trouble, save yourself the stress, just wait for a little longer. And if after a week or something, whatever they tell you, just make sure you ask them, hey, if this happens, when do I need to reach out back to kind of, make sure you guys are giving me drone again? So that's kind of what happened. After a couple of days, I didn't really know what to do. The drone didn't update. It was still in Texas and it got delivered. Absolutely confused. Have no idea why it could get delivered, and it was signature, you can only receive it by signature. So someone, or at least I kind of thought, someone actually just received it and just said, hey, new drone, great. Strangely enough, I don't even know how it happened, but after kind of just talking to them and saying again, hey, this got delivered to this location, what the hell is going on? I have no idea where this is. Can you kind of help me out here? They said, sir, I don't really know what's going on, so let me try and reach out to UPS and we'll kind of go through this process. But, I had my notes of what I actually talked about with my previous representative, and he literally said, hey, if it got delivered, you'll probably get sent a new drone. Okay, well, we'll see what kind of happens there. Back and forth banter. The whole situation in the end was pretty much like, hey, we'll see what happens. So I kind of just gave up, to be honest with you. I was going to call back again later on just to see, all right, well, are you going to give me a new drone or not? I paid for all this stuff. In the end, about another few days later, on February 11th of 2023, finally got delivered. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fly it. I didn't really be able to experience what it is. So I didn't really know what was going on because I was in Colorado at the time. But luckily, DJI, you guys definitely came through because, DJI actually gave me a brand new drone. It's a completely brand new thing. I actually haven't flown it yet. I still have the stickers on here and everything. So I was pretty surprised. I didn't really understand why they sent it, but it's probably because fixing the gimbal, and these are kind of on the older end of the drone. So they probably didn't really want to repair it, and they just decided, hey, here's a new one. My tidbit, if you own an old drone, you broke it, maybe you can, or you kind of slightly broke it or something, wouldn't hurt to actually go through the repair process as well, because they'll probably just send you a new one. Final thoughts. I'm pretty glad I got a new drone. I'm pretty glad of the whole entire process overall. I'm pretty sure if I didn't experience delays, I probably would have gotten it about less than a week and a half instead of 2 weeks. If you're able to follow this whole entire process, I appreciate it a lot. So if you like these types of videos, feel free to give it a like. It really helps me with the whole YouTube algorithm and my YouTube channel. We would really appreciate it. But if you also have any questions of anything about this whole entire process, or just in general, some things that you would like me to do, about my drone itself, you wanted me to capture, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to answer your questions. I've been checking my videos once in a while, so I'd love to answer your questions as soon as I can. So you're into these types of videos, you really like my adventures, you love all these types of stories, and just a step-by-step process of just trying to learn and just, I want to help you guys as a community of us creators. Feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take it easy, and God bless. Peace. If I had you during my Colorado trip, I would have gotten some dope shots. Where were you? Guys, if you made it to the end of the video, feel free to comment down below the word tweet. Catch you in the next one.